Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestling Spotlight. I am your host, the man, the myth, the legend, the franchise, the monopoly that is Micky Byggs. My guest today, who needs no real introduction, is a WWE alumni, a WWE Tag Team Champion, a member of the Anoa'i wrestling family, formerly known as Chemo, Mac Daddy Kane, Maddie Samu, Maddie Smalls, Rosie, and Ro Z. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Matt Anoa'i. Matt, welcome to Wrestling Spotlight.
Hey, man, how's it going? How you doing?
It's going good, man, going good. How you been?
No, not too bad, not too bad.
So,
I'm up here in Cincinnati.
There you go. So, as I said, you've been a WWE alumni. You're a former tag team champion. Give the fans a little bit of background about your career, how you started out. I mean, I know it's a family business for you, but give the fans a little bit of background on how you started out and where you came from as far as the wrestling business is concerned.
Oh, man, we started basically all over the country traveling around with my dad when I was a little kid. And we ended up in Pensacola, Florida. Lived there for 22 years. Ended up going to college at University of Hawaii and for a quick minute at University of Mississippi and didn't make the NFL, so after about a year and a half of messing around with football, I figured, hey, I wanted to start wrestling, so I called my dad. At that point in time, I was living in New Orleans, Louisiana, as it is, where WrestleMania was last night, and it just started from there. My dad, trained me, and I traveled around the Gulf Coast doing shows. Ended up moving up to New York and working around the Northeast area and getting hooked up with my Uncle Afa and my older cousin Samu. And it kind of just started from there. From '95, I just was beating the highway up with my cousin. And doing,
Now, for the fans who don't know, like I said, you're a member of the Anoa'i family. Tell the fans who your dad actually is, so they have a better idea of what you're talking about.
Oh, my bad. I thought I mentioned that. No, my dad's Sika. Uncle Rafa. Cousins are a ton. Let's start off. Please, I can remember. Tom the Kid, Yokozuna, Head Shrinkers, Fatu, Samu, Manu. We got Alofa. We got the Black Pearl, Umaga, and then of course the Usos and then my brother Roman.
And can't forget about The Rock.
And The Rock, yeah. There's so many, it's hard to remember.
That's it. The Anoa'i wrestling family is vast. Yeah, you guys have a vast family.
It's definitely the family business.
So. And that's why I tell everybody that the Anoa'i family is probably the closest thing to true wrestling royalty you'll ever get. Starting off, if I'm not mistaken, with High Chief Peter Maivia, correct?
Right. Yep. Yeah.
So, and I mean, the list goes on and on. It's ridiculous. How many of your family members have been in the business and made a name for themselves?
Say it again.
I said it's just a crazy thing of how many people in your family have, gone into the wrestling business. Like you said, it's a family business, so to speak, and made such a name for themselves. I mean, when you hear the Anoa'i family, at least for me, I think wrestling. I don't think anything else but wrestling when I hear that name come about.
Yeah, you're right. I can tell you one thing. It definitely sets the bar up high.
Oh, absolutely.
Seems like somebody keeps grabbing the bar and pushing it up a little farther every generation. So, and we're not stopping anytime soon. We've got a few younger generations that's that's working pretty hard down at Knox Pro in LA and at the Wild Samoan Training Center up in Pennsylvania. And,
absolutely,
man, we're not showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon.
Now, one of the ones that I've been keeping my eye on a lot lately is Lance. Lance seems to be doing real good for himself.
Yeah, son of Samu, he's doing awesome. I try and catch a lot of I catch some of his matches on YouTube and stuff like that, and he seems to be obviously going to picking it up just as quick as everybody else in the family.
Exactly.
Also, probably another one to keep an eye on is Jacob Fatu out in Knox Pro. He's the son of Sam Fatu, the Tonga kid, and he's dead on him. Looks exactly like his daddy. Works exactly like his daddy, and he's another one to keep your eye on.
Definitely have to take a look at his matches and see what's going on. Now, you did a lot with the WWE, from anywhere from 3-minute warning up to being a superhero in training. What was your favorite time in the WWE?
Naturally, my favorite time was all the time I was there. But obviously, with being there with my cousin in 3-minute warning was a business-wise was great. But being able to work with Hurricane Shane Helms was a very cool privilege too. It allowed me to step outside my family tree and interact as a tag with a kick-ass kid from Carolina. So it was a lot of fun all the way around though. I can't deny it. There was one bad part except for when it's over.
Right. Now, going from being part of 3-minute warning to working with Shane and becoming the superhero in training as it was, how was that transition for you as a wrestler, going from being the heel that a lot of people hated but yet a lot of people liked, to being that superhero character where you had to put out this persona that you were the good guy all the time?
It was difficult, but at the same time, whenever WWE broke the news to me that me and my cousin weren't going to be tagging anymore, so to speak, it got me worried. And of course, I'm sitting here racking my brains trying to think of something to do or make a decision. Do I leave with my cousin or do I stay here? Fortunately enough and unfortunately enough, I had commitments that I had to honor. So with my family, that made me make that decision to stay instead of go.
Right.
But it was I don't know. It was kind of hard to explain, I guess.
I can imagine it's probably a crazy time.
Yeah, I miss being with my cousins, of course. But then, once I made that transition with Hurricane, a lot of people don't know it, but I did a little bit of acting before I started in WWE, and very little, nothing, a lot of extra parts and one principal part. But so whenever Vince and me sat down for lunch, and he explained it to me, then it kind of became a challenge for me. Instead of, at first it was like, oh dear, here we go. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, this gives me a chance to try out some of my acting skills or whatever, and see if I can make it work. That was the biggest challenge. Is let's make it work. I think we did a good job at it. Nevertheless, it was fun. A lot of fun.
That's cool.
Well, it turned into a lot of fun anyway.
Now, have you had the pleasure and honor of working with Shane since, you know, your WWE times, doing the whole character of Rosie and the Hurricane?
You know, we haven't. We have not. There's been a couple close ones that we were going to be reunited for the first time, but no, I just kind of, when I left WWE and finished wrestling up in Japan, I just kind of did my own thing, made my peace with a lot of things, and I just kind of went on my own path, which was, you know, it didn't really involve wrestling too much. It involved the restaurant business for a little bit, and no, to make a long story short, no, me and Hurricane never got a chance to reunite.
Now, is there any chance in the future we may see you come back to a wrestling ring and do something, whether it be WWE or anything of the sort?
Probably not. I basically developed a heart condition called atrial fibrillation.
Oh, sorry about that.
It basically, for folks that don't know, I have an irregular heartbeat, and it's not going to be foreseen probably in my future that I'll ever do anything physically in the ring. I can still get out and go do autograph sessions and things like that, and I still am a part of a few of the local wrestling shows around the Ohio area, but as far as doing anything physically in the ring and stuff like that, no, I'm not cleared medically for that.
Maybe Vince should bring you back as a manager or something.
Yeah, that's always a possibility, but
put you with your brother.
You never know, man. That's the one fun thing about wrestling is just you never do know. It could happen, and hey, who knows? My heart could kick back into rhythm, and the doc clears me and says, "Get out, go to work." And if that ever happened, then I would probably kiss him on the cheek and say, "I'm going, man. Let's go to work."
Now, the success that your brother's having right now, that's got to be a big thrill to you, and you know, being that it is your brother, and of course the rest of the Anoa'i family.
Oh yeah, of course. All of them. The Usos. Anytime one of our family members, you know, that's one of the big things that makes our family the way it is. You know, we're all very, very, very supportive of each other, and you know, as far as what Roman is doing, he's reaching for that brass ring, so to speak, and I think he's doing a great job at it. I'd like to think that I'm probably his number one fan, but I know I'm probably equally as proud as every one of my family members.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. Now, we spoke in email a little bit about Roman, and like I said, he's making a heck of a name for himself, and I'm just hoping that sooner than later that he ends up going out on his own. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it was the time when the time's right. I've always been taught that, you know, in the wrestling business, the slower the better, and they're definitely taking their time with him. He's still young. He's still a young kid, and you know, he's got many years to go in WWE. So,
absolutely.
So no rush, WWE Universe. Just let him develop and let him get. He's on his way. He's not gonna disappoint one bit.
That's for sure. Now, do you feel that the character that he's portraying right now would be a good fit for him if he was to go out on his own, or do you think that he'd have to be repackaged?
I don't think he needs to be repackaged. I kind of dig his character. You know,
exactly.
it's it's different. It's got a little bit, I can't remember offhand any other character in WWE that was quite like that. Of course, they were similar, but you know what? I think he'll make whatever character they would, throw at him or package that they would want to put, towards him. But I don't see that happening. I think probably the biggest thing that might happen is he'll lose the vest and start showing his abs off a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, the only one that I can think of that comes to mind that was even close was, of course, Big Boss Man when he returned, but even close as a faction, right, I think, was the Truth Commission.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to, I really wouldn't compare it to them. To me, that was like night and day for just two totally different types of style. Well, just
the gimmick itself was different. Yes.
House, or I don't know. The Truth Commission to me seemed, a little bit more Saturday morning cartoony, but the Shield reminds me a little bit more of Marvel. Marvel comics.
I would have to agree with that. Yeah.
Blockbuster movie type deal. I'm sure they had Truth Commission right behind me and Hurricane on Saturday morning. So.
Now, what was your most memorable moment in the business of wrestling? I mean, you've had a lot, but what was the most memorable for you?
Man, that's a hard question, and I really don't like to answer that question, to be honest with you. Off the top of my head, I don't know. There's just, there's so many different types of memorable moments, I guess, the safe answer would be, of course, when me and Hurricane won the tag team championships up in New Hampshire.
Okay.
But there's just so many, I mean, the first day that me and my cousin walked out of 3-minute warning, when I won the championship belts, when I seen my dad and uncle all the time on there, any of my cousins that were there, there's just a ton of them. It's when you're around that business since you were 5 years old, you kind of develop a bunch of fond moments or memorable moments.
Now, most of your family have come out, a traditional Samoan, I guess you'd say warrior type character or gimmick. The exception to that has been obviously your brother Roman, and
right.
You and your cousin, who didn't come out in that traditional type of character role. And then, of course, when you went on to work as a superhero in training, as it was, why do you think that Vince didn't have the three of you, in that family type role that you've been portraying the whole time? And then, of course, your cousin came out later on, repackaged as Umaga, the Samoan Bulldozer. Why do you think Vince didn't have you guys come out this, similar type as the rest of the family had done?
Well, I think it was because me and him weren't really wild Samoanish at the time. I guess we were, and plus, Vince knows as well as everybody else, change with the times, and maybe he felt that another Samoan gimmick might have been a little bit too close to the time the Head Shrinkers were there, and things like that. So when we talked with Vince about our characters, we didn't have a problem with it, nor did they. So
cool.
I think the only thing that I had a problem with was my name. So,
yeah, I can see that.
But we didn't find our names out until we were in the ring. So
I have to ask the question then: 3-minute warning versus the head shrinkers. Who wins?
Oh, 3-minute warning.
Yeah,
I love my cousin, but me and my cousin we were pretty badass.
Yeah, you guys were. I remember all the time Eric Bischoff looking at his watch and be like, "You guys got 3 minutes." That was just a good time when, you guys used to come out to be his enforcer, if you will. What was it like working with Eric in that role?
It was good when I met him, or when I seen him. Eric liked to tuck away during the day and read a book somewhere, and unless we were going over something that we needed to earlier in the day. But working with Eric was great. I got a chance to work with him in Australia, Hulk Hogan tour, and there's a lot of Eric's. To me, he's a good person to pick your brain, pick his brain with.
Right.
But I've never had a problem with him at all. He was always very nice, cordial, and everything like that.
That's cool. Now, other than your family, like I said, the royalty of wrestling, if you will, other than your family, is there anyone in the wrestling business that you kind of looked up to say, hey, you know what, this is a good person to look up to, somebody that I can admire and say, hey, you know what, one of these days I'm going to do what they're doing?
Always my dad and uncle, because they're the first ones that I really watched. But I used to like all kinds. I used to like watching the Masked Destroyer, the Masked Superstar, Buzz Sawyer. Oh gosh, man! For some reason, Jerry Stubbs down in Pensacola, Florida, just stood out with me, and maybe it was because these were the big tippers when they asked me to go get them a soda after their match or something. I guess they're the guys that I like the most because they would tip me $10 instead of $5. So
there you go.
So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, those guys. I always dug Mr. Saito.
Wow,
stuff
Mr.
like
Saito.
that. So.
Cool. That's a name from the past, Mr. Saito.
Yeah, I know.
Holy cow! I haven't heard that name in forever.
He's also a lot of guys that hung out in my backyard barbecuing with my dad and uncle. So.
And was Ox Baker over there with you guys too?
Oh yeah. I remember Ox Baker used to float around in one of them little $5 plastic floats back in the day, and he would be backstroking that thing around the fishing pier, and people would be getting mad at him because they were trying to fish, and he's out there just
being
along, riding that little float.
just being Ox.
Yeah, basically just being Ox and having fun.
He's a crazy, crazy man.
Yeah, last time I seen him, I believe, was about 4 years ago up in New Jersey at an autograph signing, but still quick-witted and as funny as can be.
Well, supposedly this month, the 19th, on his birthday, on his 80th birthday, supposedly he wrestles his last match.
Wow.
So I guess he's working in a tag match. I'm not sure who he's working with, but he's working against Tony Atlas. I'm not sure who else, but it's supposedly his last match on his 80th birthday in Marion, I think in Ohio, actually.
Really? Okay.
Is there a Marion, Ohio?
Yeah, there is.
I think it's Marion, Ohio. I really do. For some reason.
Over there.
If I can find it, I'll send you the info.
Jason Maples.
If I can find the info, I'll send it over to you. But I do believe it's in Marion, Ohio.
Yeah, if he's around there, that's not too far from where I live. I'll probably definitely have to get up there and check that out.
So, but he is. He's a good guy. Him and I have this thing. We actually lost touch a while back, and ironically enough, it was over the simple fact that to this day it's a rib, but it's not a rib. To this day, he still says every time we talk, "Oh, you still owe me $20." Okay, Ox, I owe you $20. But we haven't really talked to him like.
If you owe him $20, give him $20.
Yeah, exactly. But every time I go to give it to him, he won't take it.
10 times a day.
But every time I go to give it to him, he won't take it. So it's like, whatever, Ox. I owe you $20. No big deal.
That's the difference between him and the Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik will take it all day long.
and Ox won't curse you out for owing it to him either.
No.
I've got to.
Sheik will still make you buy him dinner.
There you go. Exactly. I do have to ask a question because you mentioned WrestleMania in New Orleans last night. Your thoughts on the streak being ended?
My thoughts on the what?
The streak from The Undertaker being ended?
Ooh. I don't know. That was, honestly, I didn't like it. Geez Louise, man. My face pretty much dropped about as bad as what you saw on the pay-per-view. I don't know. Wrestling's a funny business, and, you never know what's going to happen, honestly. But, yeah, my definite impression is, no. To me, wrong person pass that down, too.
I've heard a lot of people say that already. It's interesting that a lot of people have the same comment on that. In a way, I wish the streak had continued, but in a way, I think this is his way, Mark's way, Taker's way of passing the torch, much like Andre did. I have a personal opinion that tonight he's going to come out to announce his retirement, and that's when the icon Sting is going to come out and be like, no, we got one more match, and that's you and me, WrestleMania 31. But, again, like you said, this business is crazy and very unpredictable, but yet predictable at times.
Yeah. That's just my personal opinion. It's not gonna make the world, start rotating in reverse or anything. But I just feel maybe it would have been better if he lost that streak to my brother next year in WrestleMania.
There you go. No, that would have been awesome, actually. You hit him with that Superman punch, and that's it. Done.
No, that punch, dude.
That punch is crazy.
I love it.
I absolutely love watching him do it, and like I said, I've been in this business 22 years, and it takes a lot for me to say that I like something, but damn, I do. I mark out every time he hits that punch.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting ready to wrap it up here, but I want to ask you, if somebody came up to you today and said, hey, Matt, I'm thinking about getting into the wrestling business, what would you recommend? What would you do, as far as helping that person or talking to that person, and what advice would you give them?
It depends on their age. If they're a little bit younger, down in the teens area or, early 20s, I'd definitely say, try and get schooling out of the way, of course. That's, first and foremost. But try and have a backup plan and make sure that, wrestling only lasts forever with less than 1% of people that are involved with wrestling. And but when you decide to make wrestling your career or your profession, then all out, go after it, do what you got to do to get it, and don't let them get in your way unless it's family or your kids or something. But get your ass to Knox Pro in L.A. or Wild Samoan Training Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania, or Wild Samoan Training Center down in Crestview, Florida. We're all over the place. So.
That's the truth. Anybody that doesn't know who the Anoa'i wrestling family is, then you're not a true wrestling fan. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
pretty
been a blessing, but,
Well, exactly, and that's just it. It's been a
cool
blessing
to be a part of something like that.
Any last words for the fans?
Any who for the fans?
I said, any last words for the fans?
Man, you guys keep on doing what you do because you're allowing us to do what we do or did or want to do. And just big shout out to all the birthday wishes today and stuff on Facebook. And man, thanks for everything that you guys do. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fans, and there wouldn't be any wrestlers.
I think that's the truth. Well, Matt, it's been a pleasure to have you on Wrestling Spotlight. I do want to get you on again sometime in the future. And I'll be talking to you again real soon, my brother.
Right on. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Sounds good. Wrestling fans, this is Wrestling Spotlight. The man, the myth, the legend, the franchise, the monopoly that is Micky Byggs. See you next time at ringside.